always wanted to know what hell was like. Now you will know.
G3, hello, my name is Kevin, I am the Dapper Man, and today I want to talk to you about the 1997 film, The Night Flyer. Now, I do say 1997 because it was originally released on HBO in the month of November for 1997, and 3 months later, it was a theatrical release on February 1998. It was made with a modest budget of $1 million, which is very low and very cheap, and sometimes you get away with a movie like that, but unfortunately, it didn't make any money back. It only made back $125,000, which is not very much at all for a movie, but maybe there is a reason why The Night Flyer only made back nothing. It just didn't make a single penny back. Let's get into the movie right now. We begin with an airplane being landed already on a airstrip. It's a very dark evening, and the radio controller man has informed him he needs to move. However, there is no answer. He goes to investigate only to be greeted by Dwight Renfield, to which he meet his doom. The next scene is cut to a newspaper station to report on the weird, paranormal, and unexplained. Yes, this is the tabloids. So we enter news editor Merton Morrison, who does not leave his room at all for any scene in this film. I mean, seriously, he does not leave this room for nothing. He is right now talking to the freshly new hired Catherine Blair to work on the story that our main character Richard Dees did not want due to calling it a waste of time.
There's nothing here.
But for some odd reason, he doesn't give it to Catherine, he gives it to Dees, because Dees is the top notch. He is the top dog of the newspaper, and anytime when he does a story, it sells. And I guess that's a good thing because he actually owns his own airplane, and he doesn't do anything but fly everywhere, because it would make this movie a bit more awkward if he didn't own his own airplane. And as Dees goes further into investigating, he's like right on his tail. Every time he is almost about to catch up to him, he doesn't. He gets some clues and some things that's told to him, like whenever the Night Flyer has left, he always leaves behind this pile of dirt with worms and maggots, and every person that he ever encounters seems to have become decapitated, at least the men does, and they are completely drained of blood. So it feels like this man that he's searching for could be a vampire wannabe or the vampire himself. However, I would say that we are completely exhausted by Dee's character because he spends the entirety of the film effing and blinding everybody. I mean, he is effing and blinding everybody. There's nobody he doesn't chew out. Everybody he encounters, he hates. He doesn't like anybody. He's a very dislikable character, and he's supposed to be the protagonist that we want to sort of root for, but I can't find myself rooting for. In fact, I'm actually hoping that he meets his dooms sooner or later in this film. Not saying that what's going to happen to the film, but I really do wish this character could have been so much better than what was presented into the film. He plays almost like a child that has taken his sweets away from him and just slinging a tantrum fit that nobody even cares about. He just goes around just screaming and yelling at people in such a very annoyed tantrum fit. And I didn't really much care for him.
Where's my picture? Where's my dead baby? I told you before, Libby, do not with my stuff. Jimmy, listen to me now. I don't have friends.
You do this to Claire?
No, I didn't, but I think the guy who did just ran that way.
I said, move it along, buddy.
Get your hands off me, pal. I'm not impressed.
I mean, it's not going to be ready for next week. You got that?
Yes, Renfield. Dwight Renfield, you damn...
But it is the last 20-25 minutes of the film that we all really wait for and we root for, because this is the part of the movie that it actually becomes quite horrifying. There are some horrifying, gruesome deaths that happens throughout the movie, but it's always the aftermath. This time, we actually get to see it somewhat in action, and it has a very great presence of a horror film. It's almost as though they should have just stopped the movie, just did the last 30 to 40 minutes and presented that, and we have had a much better horror story movie, or a short story. Now, there are differences between the UK and the American version because it's an American film, and it's surprisingly, for some odd reason, the UK version has an extra couple of seconds of the blood and gore, which is quite surprising to me because knowing basically any movie that's made or presented that in the UK, and they always cut off the blood, they always cut off the gore and certain violent scenes, but for some reason, I guess because it's in black and white, it makes it more passable. I can't tell you, but the scene is done in black and white, which I cannot say, but I very much love watching a movie in black and white. And I appreciate that the end sequence is in black and white. I don't care for the transition when it goes from black and white back to color, because it seems odd in that transition. It doesn't really seem like it's very thoroughly thought. It's just like boom, cut, and there's like this lines that happens between the black and white and color, which is, I think, had to be something with the editorial. I can't tell you. Now the film is really okay. It's not really great. It's not really grand. It's not bad, terrible, but it's okay. They could have did a lot better with Richard Dee's character. I did not care for his character at all whatsoever. It just didn't do it for me. I like Julie Entwistle's character. She only did 2 movies. She only did this one and one other movie with Kevin Kline called In and Out. Very short, but she didn't do any other movies. Maybe she found out movies isn't really her passion, but I think she did a pretty good job at this. Not excellent, but a pretty good job. And lastly, we have Dan Monahan, who is the newspaper chief editor in the newspaper. Like I said earlier in the review, he does not leave the room at all. He has this type of cynical, but like he knows more than what he's letting on, and it's kind of odd when his scene ends, you don't see him anymore in the movie, and he just laughs crackling for no reason other just to laugh menacingly in a crackling voice. I didn't understand why he did that. Made no sense. However, there is some differences in the book short story and the movie, and in fact I'll talk about it right now. Now, for one thing, I do not own the VHS. I have the DVD, which I actually got this free at a pawn shop because I was talking to a man about horror films, and for some reason me talking long enough to this person and describing my love for movies, and I showed him my channel, and he's like, he loved it, it was awesome, and he said, why don't you just go pick a free movie just on me? And I was like, all right, well, I haven't seen this movie, so why not? And I just didn't know why I picked it, but I decided to pick it, and I can tell you there is nothing really special about this DVD. It's one of the old-fashioned styles. It's got the clip right there, folds open, as you can see right there, and it has like the old-fashioned style when it first started. The special features is pretty much just like the click and read about the production notes and everything else on it, which I would say for the production notes, they went pretty lengthy time in defining this airplane. They wanted a specific type of airplane, and since this story was written in the 80s, they had to go back further because the plane that Stephen King was looking for, or was actually describing, is a very older type of airplane, a twin-engine Cessna Skymaster for all you airplane nerds out there. 1977 airplane they found, and they repainted it black with the red stripes, and it looks pretty good. I wished if they were going to make the airplane as a character of its own, they could have done a bit more better into the reveal of it. Now with this part, I'm going to spoiler territory, so if you wish to stop the video and don't hear anymore, you can do so. I would not be upset, angry, mad, or anything. But if you do wish to continue, I will begin to the spoiler part of the movie/book. The comparison between the novel, short story, as I would say, and the movie is that the book ends at the toilet scene. So in the bathroom, washroom, toilet scene, whatever you want to call it, that's where the short story practically ends. It is the 4th story into this collection of short stories by Stephen King, Nightmares and Dreamscapes. And it's only 40 pages long, so it's not very that long. And it ends right there. And the movie continues on. And this is the part where I say the movie is actually better than the short story. The short story was okay. You don't have Julie's character. You don't have really much of any other characters. You don't read or too much of anybody dying. I mean, it's told, but it's all told through his perspective from the information that he's been given to report on the news. He only sees one, and I think he sees 2. Yeah, he sees 2, and it's the aftermath, of course. But there's no signage of like when the vampire was writing in blood to stay away, to don't come near me and so forth, like it does in the movie. The novel, he doesn't do that at all until the very end. So there is a big difference right there. And the black and white sequence, which is completely on the film its own, which I think did a much better job in the storytelling. So in all, if I was to say if this is something you want to read for those vampire lovers or watch, this is probably for you and up your alley. For those who are not really into vampires, just pass this up. This is not something that's even worth watching that much. And it's not even really a short story that's even worth reading. It's okay, you read it one time and then you're done and over with. You don't, it's not like one of Stephen King's better storytelling. It's like he just came up with the short story, wrote it, and that's what he did. I would say this movie is a very strong R due to its language and its graphic, bloody violence that's into the film. So, in case you're wondering why this film is rated R, here is the reason right now. As I said, this is a strong R rating. Not extreme, but it's pretty much up there. It's strong. That is it. That is all I have. Let me know down in the comments below of your thoughts on the movie, if you have seen the movie, and have you read the short story. I'm curious. I'd like to hear your thoughts and your opinions on this as well. In fact, I'll go one step further. Let me know your favorite vampire movie. I'd like to hear it, and I swear you better not say Twilight. I promise you, if you say Twilight, I will hunt you down. I will send you endless letters. Okay, maybe I won't do that. I may just disconnect from you. I don't know. Please don't say Twilight. Say something else. I don't care if you say any of Wes Craven's crazy vampire, or was that John Carpenter? That movie was awful, but not as awful as Twilight. Come on. So, I hope that you have a lovely day, and I will see you around to the next review. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment down below. I would love for you to be part of this channel, and I could actually hear from you and respond. So, take care. Cheers.